All right, Shalom. First off, all praises, admiration, honor, and glory goes to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rekahakodash, and double honor to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. All right, first off, I want to say Shalom to the ones that push this word out in truth and in sincerity, which is the apostles and elders on down to the brothers. And Shalom to the ones that endure this faith until the very end, until the time of Jacob's troubles, which are again the apostles and elders on down to the brothers and a few sisters. All right, so Shalom. So, I want to do this, pretty much a quick little video based on like it was a I'm not sure we could say it was a dream pretty much, right? Or a vision. Um, it was like during the time, in this dream I saw, man, it was the time of Jacob's troubles, right? And we was out there prophesying and all this hell was breaking loose, man. It's like it was like literally average things pretty much, right? You saw what was weird about the dream though is that where we prophesied, there's a lot of traffic, right? But all the cars they weren't cars; they were all militarized, right? If there were some cars, they were militarized, something that you see out of Mad Max, right? But most of it was actual military equipment, right? Most of it was military weapons, right? Construction vehicles mostly was driving by constantly, but they was weaponized, right? So pretty much with that, what I took out of that is that that type of world that you see in these movies, right? The fiction, all that stuff's going to be coming to life, right? Everything's going to be militarized. Everything's going to be that what's that word? Martial law, which is what warlike law, right? But the main point of this video, is pretty much twofold. You know, while we was reading that this scripture right here actually, like word for word, we was reading this scripture like in the dream. And I just figured it would be spiritual. Why not just, bring this scripture out in general? This is Isaiah 24 and 20. It says, the earth shall reel to and fro like a drunkard, and shall be removed like a cottage, and the transgression thereof shall be heavy upon it, and it shall fall and not rise again. Right? So what is that talking about, man? The earth shall reel to and fro like a drunkard. It's like this scripture was read so many. It's like it was read so many times in that dream, but it was all still at once. It's like now I can just pretty much quote it off the top of my head, right? So it said the earth shall reel to and fro like a drunkard, right? When it means reel to and fro, that's talking about what the coming destruction of this place, right? What happened back then? You had the days of Noah, right? And that's how you know that the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, man, is the God of the living, right? Of all powers. Why do you think they call him the Lord of hosts, right? Of all elements above it, right? Because he created it all. The Lord flooded this earth with water, right? And what's coming to pass is that the Lord is going to flood this place with fire. So it said the earth shall reel to and fro like a drunkard, right? Me reading this over and over again, it feels just like that dream again. It says, it shall be removed like a cottage, right? A cottage is easy to be moved, right? Like it's nothing. The fact that people would think that this is talking about, earth itself, right? No, that's talking about what? Babylon the Great, which is America, right? So it said it shall be removed, like a cottage, easily misplaced and removed, taken off the map, taken off the grid. What has to happen to this place, man? Because this society as we know it is a cancer unto this earth. And it's always been built off of bloodshed and it's going to be destroyed with bloodshed, right? It's a foreshadow of itself. It says, and the transgression thereof shall be heavy upon it, and it shall fall and not rise again, right? That's also a precept to Isaiah chapter 13, right? Where it talks about, they can't pitch tent there. They can't. In fact, while I'm at it, I might as well get that. That's actually in the spirit. This is Isaiah 13, and I want to get the main point. pretty much. In fact, I can start at 14 and I'll jump to the main point. It says, and it shall be as the chaste roe, and as a sheep that no man taketh up. They shall every man turn to his own people and flee everyone into his own land. Right? So people are going to flee from this place and return to their own land, right? Because the ones that came over to this society, as they did back then with Rome, right, with Egypt, they went there expecting, things good because they heard so many good things about it. But when it collapsed, what happened? Everybody fled and went back to their own lands, right? So that's what's going to happen today. They're going to flee back into their very own land, right? But when it talks about a chaste roe, right, a chaste roe is pretty much pure destruction, is turmoil, something that's really confusing. Pretty much the definition of, America itself. Here's the main point right here. I'll start at verse 19. It says, "And Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees' excellency, shall be as when Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah," right? "And it shall never be inhabited, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation. Neither shall the Arabian pitch tent there, neither shall the shepherds make their fold there," right? But the wild, it's all self explanatory. "But wild beasts of the desert shall lie there, and their houses shall be full of doleful creatures. And the Salakia, and owls shall dwell there, and satyrs shall dance there," right? "And the wild beasts of the islands shall cry in their desolated houses, and dragons in their pleasant palaces. And her time is near to come, and her days shall not be prolonged." Right? So if you actually read the scriptures, man, it's the scriptures itself telling you, right? Through the spirit of power of Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai, and through the prophets of the Lord, right? We're telling you, the scriptures telling you, the prophets of old are telling you, right? The list goes on. They're all telling you that this place has a lot of bad times coming. And as the brother Amuan says, man, it's going to be a lot of sad faces. And you people that don't want to get it, y'all will actually see, right? There's not even much that we can say on that. Y'all will see. Because at this point, it takes for you to actually see it, for you to actually go through it, for you to actually understand, give you a wake up call. But when it takes for you to actually, go through that type of stuff, that means it's too late then, because you should have hearkened unto the words of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, right? You should have listened to the prophets that the Lord set up. Right. So this is Matthew 24 and 37. It says, here we go. It says, "But as the days of Noah were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. For as in the days that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking and marrying and giving in marriage until the day that Noah entered the ark." What is that talking about right there? What do you see people doing today? Eating, drinking, marrying, right? Doing dumb TikTok trends, eating spice bowls off of lawnmowers that's covered in grass still, eating it out of toilets that probably a fat man shitted in, or a fat black woman, right? Or, just doing dumb shit, right? People are losing their minds, but they love it, right? That's that foul spirit, right? And driving people to madness, right? But they cover that up with, you know, eating, drinking, marrying, giving in marriage. It doesn't even actually have to mean marrying, it just means having a good time, right? It says, "And knew not until the flood came and took them all away. So shall also the Son of Man be," right? Salaki, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be, right? So that's what's coming. Again, you don't hearken unto the words of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, man. The Lord said, you know, of just slightly paraphrasing, right? People will pretty much have dreams, right? And visions. What is the Lord sending? Right? Dreams and visions, right? And sights. There will also be fearful sights. Every time somebody spots something like what they call a UFO, you can hear that they're in fear, right? Because y'all people are not ready. Y'all not ready for what's coming. Y'all not ready for, the destruction, and y'all sure as hell are not ready for, what we could call the paradise that's coming. Right? You put a nigga right now in the kingdom, they ain't gonna appreciate shit. They're gonna probably try to pollute it. Probably smoke some gold ass blunts. Right? Have some bunch of hard ass liquor bottles made of lambskin and just being a goddamn demon. Right? Y'all people are not ready for what's coming. Good and bad. That might even be the title of the video, man. Y'all not prepared for what's coming, good or bad. Because y'all really not. This is First Thessalonians 5:3. It says, "For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape." Right? So what is that talking about again? Right? Pretty much the same thing that we just read. It's going to be sudden destruction. Again, the Lord flooded this earth with fire. This place, Salaki, flooded it with water, right? Which is a very, very dangerous substance. Hell, you even drink too much water, you'll get sick, right? You let water, get creep in places, you got water damage, right? You'll drown in water. Hell, water will crush you under pressure. So he flooded it with water, and he's going to flood this place with fire, right? Another substance, right? Another compound that would literally melt this entire place off of the face of the earth, as the scriptures say, right? The Lord is not slack concerning his promises, man, because those are the things that's coming to pass. So by the Lord's will, this lesson was edifying. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakahakodash, and Shalom.